And here we go. Here we go. Here we go again. Here we go.
Here we go. Here we go again.
You didn't come here for the singing, did you? Hi, everybody. It's the CC and JT Amateur Hour. Production values go to die. That one's CC.
And that one's JT.
First of all, good morning, Jack in the Box. Yeah, baby. Good morning. We have a tradition Sundays. If you've been with us for a while, you know this, but we have a tradition that we do. We get a Jack in the Box breakfast order so we can drink coffee, the excellent Jack in the Box coffee. So while we do this podcast, and it winds us up. So sometimes we talk like this. So we apologize for that in advance. But so we just want to say thank you to Jack in the Box for doing a wonderful job this morning. If you're new to our experience, the CC and JT Amateur Hour is one of two podcasts that we do. The other podcast is the Nevada Author Network, where we are in a partnership. Two More Books LLC is in a partnership with the Sierra Arts Foundation of Reno, Nevada, to highlight the Sierra Arts literary community, the fantastic writing and writers and authors in Northern Nevada. Mm-hmm. So you can find those podcasts over on twomorebooks.com. This podcast is for all writers. Mm-hmm. And what we do is every other week we feature a writer, and we've had a really great string of writers, fascinating string of writers. And so we've been very blessed in that. But every other week we just sit down and we talk like we used to, because I just like sitting down and talking, obviously. Now I'm going to drink some coffee while CC talks.
And while we've got the podcast going on, if anybody's been following along, I'm also doing daily YouTube videos. So, like, we're not doing enough already, but that's at author Cassidy Carson on YouTube. I can have those links everywhere, and that's been interesting, because I am currently doing a fast draft of a book, and I've set up a second playlist that will be specifically related to fast drafting. So I have my Life of a Writer 2026 playlist going, which all of those videos will still be on that playlist, but then there will be a separate fast drafting playlist. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, and it's kind of fun. You learn all sorts of stuff. Between this podcast and what CC is doing, you have this opportunity for independent writers to learn about what it is to be independent writers. The overwhelming disappointment. Oh my gosh.
Well, we should talk about that though.
Okay, before we do that, I want to do one more plug, and then we can dive into that. I want to talk about, I finally, after months of procrastinating, I finally redid the 99-cent book page. So it makes more sense now. So go to our main page at carsonhume.com. You'll see 99 cents right there. Go to the 99-cent page, and you will see 7 books with easy links to access the 7 books that we have up for 99 cents. Really, they're an obvious play to get you to read the rest of the series, but it's still, there's quality writing there for good prices. So,
and we should say those are the ebook versions.
Ebooks versions, right? Yeah. And if you want to, if you want autographed copies of a book, autographed copies of our book, go to carsonhume.square.site, which Jennifer did just a few days ago, and her books are traveling across the United States right now. So if you want an autographed book, go to our bookstore, and we can do that.
And we have all of our books available as paperbacks on the bookstore, so you get a nice copy with a fun little personalized autograph. And we also have book bags on there if anyone's interested. We haven't really sold any of those yet, I don't think.
We usually just give them away.
We're giving them away if someone buys a full series.
Yeah.
So definitely go and check that out. We will be adding more books to that this year. Yeah, and we just added this one. So we've got a lot going on.
So 2 non-book things we're going to talk about, then we'll dive into things. Thing 1 is spring. Spring happened this week.
That's true.
And it sort of crashed into Reno. Reno set the high for March at 87 degrees. And I don't mean that day. I mean, since it's been recorded, the highest temperatures in March at 87 degrees. And that apparently is not unusual across the West, because forecasters and scientists were noting that the entire West Coast just baked in March. It is baking in March.
Mm-hmm.
But, don't worry about it. The government says global warming is a hoax. So, don't worry about that stuff.
We know that the weather will probably swing back, and we're supposed to be cooling down a little bit, so we haven't hit the string of summer temperatures that we inevitably do in probably July and August.
Yeah.
Actually, sometimes even September can be part of the hottest time of the year.
Yeah.
So,
well, I did see in the forecast that
it's
it's supposed to get up to 60 in a week.
Yeah.
So, which is normal for March.
Yeah.
And the other thing we want to talk about is
baseball.
Baseball. We're gonna have some real baseball this week. What's our predictions? Do we have a Cubs prediction? We're thinking playoffs?
I think at least playoffs. Yeah.
Yeah.
They did pretty well last year.
Yeah.
And they've kind of been rebuilding.
Mm-hmm.
I think they've got a good team going right now, and I think there's a good possibility they'll at least make the playoffs.
Yeah, they did. I think they exceeded expectations last year. I think they got to the second round before they got bounced.
And as far as I'm aware, I haven't been paying close attention, but I think they were doing pretty well in spring training too.
But the best, like PCA folks, and the closer whose name I cannot remember or pronounce, did really well for Valenzuela, and he's our closer.
Mm-hmm.
So so baseball. So we're looking forward to some baseball this year. So that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm sorry for cutting you off. What did you want to chat about?
Oh, you mentioned disappointments. So JT did his book release on Tuesday at Common Coffee for Finding Salvation, and we very kindly had a fellow author friend of ours make the trip down to visit us and
from her home in
South Reno.
Yeah.
So thank you, Angela. I know you're not supposed to be on social media right now, so you better be working.
Yeah, you didn't see this.
If you see this later, good job for concentrating. But aside from that, we sold 2 copies at Comma Coffee. One person, as we were setting up, did come over and chat with us, but otherwise everybody was looking over us again.
Oh yeah.
So we were feeling pretty disappointed about that. And then we got home. And what happened when we got home?
Yeah, we got home, and then Jennifer put in an order, which was really nice of her. Jennifer put in a big book order for the 3 Serving Salvation books.
Mm-hmm.
She put in an order for this book.
Yes.
And she put in an order for
Zoe.
Zoe.
The cowboy cover.
Yeah, the cowboy cover.
Yep.
So I had to spend a few minutes coming up with 5 different things to say as I'm signing this. So that was sweet. So, and we've been doing bits and bots of 99-cent books on Amazon. So,
actually, I think was that also the day that my book?
You sold a copy. You sold a book of
Passion Restored.
So we had this book was good.
We came home from the event. We were there for 3 hours?
Yeah.
And it was very disappointing. I think we were both feeling very down. I know JT was for sure. And, you get yourself hyped up. And we know previous events we've done, it's been pretty lackluster. But you always have high hopes.
Yeah.
So coming home and having that disappointment and then getting the order online, it was such a picker-upper. So on those days where you're feeling down and when you feel like you're never going to make it, remember, you never know what's going to happen. Just a few minutes later, because I remember that lunch in particular, we were sitting there and it was gloom and doom and we're never selling any books. And then all of a sudden we're packing up a box of books to ship back east. So definitely, feel your disappointment because you've earned it. Honestly, it is hard not even talking to people. There were so many people at Common Coffee that morning that just ignored us because they were standing right in front of us talking to each other and completely ignored us. So I don't know what was going on there, but I've said this on my YouTube videos. If you're out in public and you come across a writer in the wild sitting at a table looking very lonely, at least go and say hello to them because it'll make their day.
Yeah, just talk, because it's
hard.
When we did our Barnes, and that's not the first time we crashed and burned like that too, because we did Barnes and Noble the last time we did Barnes and Noble, and we got to give flowers to Barnes and Noble.
Oh, they were great.
They are humongous supporters of self-published writers. They don't have to, because they make their business on mainstream books, and they do not have to have us poor little people
taking up space.
In their space. So and we're deeply appreciative of it, but. This last time that we were at Barnes & Noble, we sold 1 whole book. We were there for hours.
And I think that was at the very end. We were getting ready to pack up or something. But going back to the point of please say hello to your writers in the wild, and also feel your disappointment, but don't allow your disappointment to overwhelm you, because you never know when things are going to take that turn, and all of a sudden you're selling a bunch of books. And that's just, be tenacious. Don't give up, never surrender.
And it's also unless you take your books down, your books are going to be up there for as long as the platform allows them to be up there. Do I predict that it's possible that platforms will start culling their offerings? I think that's logical. I think that's reasonable, because there's only quote unquote so much room. But there's so many platforms.
The other issue is, and this is something that's happening right now.
I'm sorry, I wasn't quite finished with my point yet.
Sorry.
What I was trying to say is, as long as it's up there, it's up there.
Right.
And one person could find it, recommend it, do a book review, and it could end up suddenly be the flavor of the week, and it could just take off. And so, just hang in there and remember that you're doing this in the long run. And I don't mean to be, kind of depressing or anything, but your books will live on after you.
Oh yeah.
And we know from high school English, there are several writers that did not see their fame during their lifetime. So maybe you're doing something for your grandkids. Who knows? Okay. Anyway, I'm sorry.
Well, just to your point of culling things, that is starting to happen, because we've mentioned AI before. We don't go into it too deeply, but people are trying to take notice and take down things that they suspect are AI. I don't know if it's always the case, because I think they're actually using AI to try to determine if it's AI, so we won't go there. But it is possible, like you said, that the platforms may start culling books. So it's, unless that happens, and that may lead to independent authors coming together to create their own platform where they can publish. And I can see something like that happening in the future. I know independent authors are trying to work together more often. I've actually just joined a group called Crone Authors Together, where older women are working together to support each other. And we're going to have quite a large number of authors working in tandem. And that allows you the opportunity to maybe create a new way of promoting yourself and your books.
Yeah. But we're kind of doom and gloom today, because really it's
we're making a lot of changes.
Yeah, we're making changes, we're making decisions, and we're doing what companies should do, is we're continuously discussing and candidly shrinking operations because the state of the nation, and you don't want to I don't want to say it that way. The reality is everything affects everything. It's something, when gas prices go up, everything goes up. My own
transportation costs,
but everything associated with gas prices goes up. And I'm making a point here. And so it's like, if you have to put something on a truck, it costs more money. It's like when we were doing these books for Jennifer, the sticker shock of shipping these books ourselves is just caught us by surprise, but we did it. But it's the state of affairs in our country right now is prices are going up. We're not going to get into political. People who are experts are going to do that. But the reality is what the decisions that are being made in Washington have a domino effect. A domino effect on every American's life. Yeah. And it's not something that of course the warfare is happening over there, but the effect is being felt at home. Right. And there's perhaps a reasonable discussion that, maybe we should just suck it up in support of this, but this is a conflict that we don't really support in the first place. So
yeah, we're not getting into the politics.
But the problem is, the challenge is those decisions have a roll-down effect.
Yep. And
one of those roll-down effects, which is in the big scheme of things, and we recognize this, it's not a big deal, but it affects us specifically, because we had planned to take this big long trip next month to go through the south,
southern U.S.
and then come back and loop up and then go through the north U.S. East west, west to east and east to west.
Yes.
Yep. And then we started calculating the gas costs, by
gas
doing
and food and lodging,
gas, food,
everything.
and lodging.
Yep.
And we have saved a lot of money for this trip, and it turned out that the budget that we set up would get us 3/4 of the way, and then we would have to eat into our savings to get home.
Mm-hmm.
So we've made the very difficult decision that we are not going to do a road trip.
A long road trip.
A long road trip. Now, we may take a short trip through California or something
Yeah.
like that. But I got to tell you, it was just, back to the word disappointing. We had mapped out our stops. We had mapped out the independent bookstores we were going to visit. We had mapped out the libraries we were going to visit.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just, we were going to just, push our books, especially the libraries, and say, hey, we are on Libby and we are on Hoopla. Please get our books so your patrons can enjoy our books for free.
Yep.
And it's...
And also, we would get to explore libraries and bookstores in different places, along with all the other interesting sites along the way. And we were both really looking forward to the trip. So it is incredibly disappointing. And, I don't know if maybe we would consider doing something virtually, but it's not the same as being there. So we did make that decision. It's not a fun decision. However, I will say on the flip side of that, with everything else going on right now in our business, particularly with my books, it's probably for the best because I've got the one book in edits, I've got the one book in drafting, which I have set up for edits in May, and not being on the road will help me get that done.
But it's
still disappointing.
It's still disappointing because we were hoping that, we were hoping to meet people, we were hoping to discuss our books. If perhaps, impromptu writer discussions, because we're going to be doing that I'm going to be doing my version in May. You're going to be doing your version in August. We're going to be at the Churchill County Library, do a writer's presentation. So I'm going to be taking my turn on May 21st, I want to say something.
I think yours is May 26th, and
Right.
mine is August 25th. They're Tuesdays.
Right.
And it's in the evening. So if you are in the Northern Nevada area, particularly Fallon, where the Churchill County Library is located, we'll be there on those evenings.
And we wanted to be able to do something like that, maybe show up at the library, do impromptu discussions, or meet with, independent bookstores, things like that. But it's not going to happen now. So what we're going to do instead is possibly take a short trip around California because they, you may have heard, they read books there.
It's a big state.
But we're going to continue to build up the savings. So perhaps maybe try this again, reassess in the fall, though it's probably not going to happen because we have commitments already. So maybe next year. But still, it's like, man, I'm bummed. I was looking forward to getting out of Dodge.
And it's possible if things do calm down, we might not make the full trip, but maybe we can hit some of the surrounding states. Like we had planned to go to the Grand Canyon, which we've flown over, but we haven't seen at ground level. And, we could pop up to Montana. It's not a quick trip, but that is one of the states we want to catch. And, it's a doable drive. It's not cross country, but we could still do little drips and drabs here and there as we can afford it. And,
it was a hope.
Yeah.
So I guess the name of this
fun.
podcast today is Disappointment, because disappointment is, reality for independent writers. It's a natural part of the business. But I'm going to counter it just a little bit that while we may be having disappointment in our sales, it is when people do talk to us and when we do book events, and we do have events coming up, that is the fun. I think talking to readers about books is maybe the other than selling books, maybe the best part of the business for me. I like talking to readers. I like answering their questions. Some of them have very good questions, and so to talk about that is kind of fun. It's really hard for me to do cold selling though. It's really, really, really hard.
That is the problem. I think one of the issues we may have with marketing is that we are selling ourselves as much as we're selling our books, and it's hard for us to do that. We're not really self-promo people. I think we both feel a little bit awkward about that because we're just doing what we're doing. So that's why we keep doing these podcasts and trying to help promote other authors as well, because we're hoping that it's reciprocal. We can promote each other, and it does come, it does work. We're going to an event today where we will be visiting with Jade Griffin. Hi, Jade.
Hi, Jade.
Congratulations on your new book. And, it feels good to help promote other authors.
Mm-hmm.
I think it feels better
Yeah.
promoting other authors than it feels
It's
promoting
easier.
ourselves. So that's some of what we're doing, is that we're hoping that among our community, we can all support each other so we don't have to do so much of the cold sales.
It's rough.
It's challenging.
It's challenging, but it is easier to do other writers, to promote other writers than it is to promote ourselves. So we have to promote ourselves. So how do we get out of the disappointment cycle? Because we get ourselves all up and energetic to do book sales, or go to a bookstore or go to Comic Coffee to offer a book, and it crashes and burns. And so we got that disappointment. So how do we get out of that cycle? And I can only say, perhaps maybe part of it is we focus on the things that we do well.
Mm-hmm.
We do whatever those are. I don't know what they
continue
are,
to-
but
We continue to do our podcast interviews of other authors, which I don't think one person has yet come back and said that we were lacking in some way in those interviews. It usually comes back that we all had a good time. We made them feel comfortable, which is basically our goal. And we helped promote them. So I think when we do things like that, after the interview, when we've talked to people and we ask them for feedback, and they come back and say, really, I thought it was fun.
Yeah.
I don't have any feedback. So I think that helps pull us out of the disappointment.
But also, we find out that there's a lot of commonality because we've said this before. Writing is a very private endeavor that's done in the public eye, but we found out that there's a lot of commonality in everything that we do. And one of those things is everybody, without exception, hates marketing. Everybody hates marketing.
There are very few exceptions. There are people who have marketing background who get kind of a thrill out of it, and they, especially as they become independent authors, they find that it's a different challenge from maybe what they did professionally, but I think they get a rush out of it. The majority of us do not.
Yeah, anyway. So, well, I thought you would want to know.
Thank you.
But but there is commonality. People, people have the same general writing habits. They write when they can. The plotters and the pantsers are all alike in what they do. Within their little things. Everybody is hoping that the added exposure. There's just we have so much in common. You would think with thousands of writers there would be difference. No. You'd be surprised. We've done dozens upon dozens of writers' interviews now. We're finding a lot of them have so much in common.
Yeah.
So that helps with the disappointment in that while we're doing this writing thing alone, we know that there are others who are touching the keyboard who are just like us, hoping, praying, working, feeling it, and carrying on.
And I think the takeaway from that is if you are an independent author and you're not interacting with your fellow authors, please go out there, find a local writers group, find a podcast. Podcasts are actually quite fun. We usually dread them beforehand, but afterward we're kind of like, oh, that was great. We just made a new friend.
Yeah.
So as an author, if you are feeling very isolated and disappointed, one of the best ways to get out of the disappointment is to interact with other authors and find out that you're not alone in what you're going through.
Yeah. But should you keep writing? That's the hard question.
Yes.
That's the hard question.
Never give up, never surrender.
Yeah, just keep going.
You might not necessarily want to continue writing in the same way. There is nothing wrong with just writing for yourself. If you want to put out a book and just let it sit there and, if people find it, or put it up there and tell your family, hey, there's this book you can check out. That's cool too. We are kind of at a point, I think, where we are challenging ourselves because this is something we've dreamt of doing for so long that we really want to try to achieve some level of success to see if we can do it. But I think we both feel, and I'm not sure, I should speak for JT in this, but I think we both feel that the satisfaction of finishing a book, doing the best work we can, getting it edited, getting these beautiful covers designed, and then putting it up there, that is success in its own right,
Mhm.
because we did get something out of our head and it's out in the world, whether or not anybody reads it.
Yeah, and like it or not, writing is a fulfillment of a dream. It's a dream that you're having. You dreamt at one point in your life says, you know, someday I'm going to get published, or someday I'm going to continue to get published. I'm going to write a book. I'm going to create a book, and it's a dream. And dreams are good. You know, they give us the power and incentive to reach for the summit. And I gotta tell you, and I'm just spoiled myself, you know. I sit in Comic Coffee and write all the time, and people, you know, I do get a question every once in a while, but I am there with my coffee, I am there with my side order of bacon, and I am writing, and it's like I did 40 years of public service to reach this point. That doesn't suck, man. Even if I don't produce a book, I am doing, you know, I'm living the dream. And I could hear some people going, well, you've got small dreams. Yeah, so what?
They're big dreams for us. And really, it worked out because even a decade ago, self-publishing, there was a major stigma to it. Over time, that has evolved. I remember 20 years ago, I had a good friend who was an author, and she said I would never self-publish because then nobody will ever take you seriously. And I think that friend ended up later on self-publishing because people are kind of going in that direction now. It gives you a lot of creative freedom. There is a lot of gatekeeping still in traditional publishing, so you don't have to write quite as much to market, which means you may not sell, but the stigma has gone away. And we retired at a time when it's really a golden age of self-publishing. Yes, things are flooding the market, but that means that a lot of people are able to put their dreams out there.
Yeah, dreams are cool, man. Yeah. So, but it is true that there's a lot out there. I'm hearing now that the traditional publishers, the big ones, are even throwing up more gatekeepers, and it's like, oh man.
On the flip side, though, if you are a self-published author and you manage to create that following and you do really well on social media, traditional publishers are actually picking those authors up. They're offering them really great deals because it means that they don't have to do a lot of the work to get you noticed in the first place because you also have the following already. So that is still a dream. I don't know that we would ever want to traditionally publish, but it would be kind of cool to say somebody like, you know, I don't know,
Andy Weir's, who we're thinking of, who wrote The Martian and Project Hail Mary. Who started off. Who started off as a small indie. You know, he puts it in his preface that he did all this. You know, The Martian evolved over years, and he just started writing little bits, and he threw it up at Amazon at 99 cents, and then it just took off on its own. Not all of us are going to be Andy.
No.
And I don't even know if I'm pronouncing your name right, sir. So I apologize if I'm not. I don't even know if I got your last name right. But anyway, I read both books. Both books are very good books. I'll be interested to see how Project Hail Mary translates to the screen because it's very technical. But I'm sorry, I got off track there.
No, that's perfect because actually I was going to say that it doesn't necessarily have to be self-publishing. This is also a golden age for other kinds of creators. A lot of filmmakers. Independent film is becoming a bigger thing. The studio system is struggling because people are not going to movie theaters. There's a lot of streaming. We have access to so many things at our fingertips that going to a movie theater, especially after the last few years, I think I love going to movies, but I have not been at all interested lately because they keep rehashing the old things. So independent films, independent books, those are the way it's going. Because they do have that creative freedom. You're not seeing the same thing over and over again. And it's really, whatever dream you have, look around you because you may be able to go out there and do something that you never imagined you could because you don't have to go through all the gatekeepers that you used to.
Okay, so we're caffeinated.
Also, that's the antidote to disappointment is realizing that even if you don't find an audience, if you don't find the audience right away, you still have opportunities. And the opportunities can lead to something that you can't even imagine right now.
Shorter, keep living the dream. Keep living your dream. Writing is living your dream. Just keep living your dream. You know?
Writing, filmmaking, whatever.
Keep living your dream because and it's worth it. It's worth it. And sometime, down the road, you may have something, that not a lot of people have. Either a completed book, a completed film, a completed podcast. Keep living the dream.
Mm-hmm.
It would be a darn shame if you let the assholes win. So don't.
Right. If we don't do anything else with our podcasts and our books, please at least know that if we can do it, you can do it, because we are really doing things on a shoestring, and we're learning as we go, because as older adults, we don't have the native digital skills.
Mm-hmm.
So if we can do it, you can do it.
Yep.
Take comfort in that.
Yep. Just keep living the dream.
Just try. Just do it.
Just do it. Just do it. Okay. Is there anything else we want to chat about?
Were you going to mention Sheriff 4?
Oh, we should just talk about books. We're going to do our progress, and then we'll let you go real quick. So
Yep.
If you don't want to hear about our book progress, you can go run away. But please don't, because we like talking about it. Okay. Cece briefly mentioned that she's doing some power writing.
Yep.
She's doing some power writing. So you've got 3 manuscripts in progress right now. Is that correct? One progress. One is at Reddit out.
Yep.
Which
In
one is at
edits.
Reddit out?
Restless Spirits 2.
You are power doing
Battleborn Bride.
We're going to come back to Battleborn Bride, and Restless Spirits 3 is just waiting for an opportunity for you to.
Once the first 2, Restless Spirits 3 is written, it needs revision. So once the first 2 are done, basically, I'll be diving right back into 3.
Okay, so Battleborn Bride is going to be a really cool book that you're doing this power surge on, with the hope that it's going to be published October 31st on Nevada Day, our state's birth. Excuse me. And it's going to be a young adult book about the state's constitutional convention with all those personalities and the very basic version of Carson City, Nevada, which, just a quick trivia, Carson City has always been the capital of Nevada, the Nevada territory in the state of Nevada.
Yep.
But briefly, what is the methodology you're using to pull this one together?
So I changed it from a historical romance to a young adult historical, which meant that the words that I already had written, I had to revise. JT and I discussed point of view, and we decided that probably the best way to do this is to have a single point of view in the book instead of hopping back and forth between characters. So I had to revise it down to the one character, Sarah Jane Avery. So the book is taking place from her point of view, and it is her navigating a lot of tragedy in her life relating to Civil War events and things like that.
So, and to frame this very quickly, this is the 1860s, which is probably, which was probably the most turbulent part of our country. Though I'm starting to think the 2020s are working that way. But anyway, the 1860s, very turbulent.
Yeah, it is specifically 1863 going into 1864. There is a series of events. She comes to Carson City, not of her own accord. Basically, life has thrown her a curveball, going to baseball. And when she gets here, she finds out that it's the state, or the territory, Nevada territory, is in line to be fast-tracked to statehood for various reasons. And it's about that process.
Right.
And the 2 constitutional conventions that happened in the fall of 1863 and the summer of 1864.
So if you're a Nevada nerd, this is going to be your milk and honey. Okay, so those are her 3 manuscripts. My 3 manuscripts is I have the sequel going on to here. TerryCase.com did a wonderful job of editing it, as she does, and I am down to 60-something edits out of 700 and something. I'm not kidding.
He has been struggling through this because you talk about disappointment.
That's disappointment. It's not like, I thought I did. It's like Terry's going.
That's why it's good to get fresh eyes.
It's definitely good to get fresh. But she's right.
Yes.
But she is right. So I got something like 60, and so I'm going back and forth on it because I've decided I'm not in a rush to publish right now. I've published so many books, I'm not in a rush to publish. So the sequel to this guy is sort of kind of there.
Is it really a sequel though? I was thinking it's more in tandem.
Okay, this is a book about Flyaway Day, when the Salvation, the ship left Earth,
Okay.
This is the sequel is about the book of the people
Left Behind. Okay, I can see that.
The other book, I'm working on another book, which I'm not going to reveal any details on, but I'm just sort of tapping on it. And it's not really coming together the way I want. I had to completely redo chapter 1. How many chapters had I written? Chapter 1. So I had to completely start over, which is fine. If you don't like something, rewrite it. That's the purpose of the first draft. Right there. That's the purpose of the first draft. And then the other one is Maggie Book 4. And I got something like 22,000 words on it. And it's just sort of like, ugh. Ugh. It's not coming together the way I want. So
I will say that with the Sheriff series, this has been very common. The first book, I think, was pretty easy. You enjoyed that process, but he never intended to do sequels to A Sheriff in Nevada. But the book was so popular that people were actually asking for more of the story. So he enjoys the characters. I think you enjoy the world that you set up, but it's always like pulling teeth.
Yeah. I'll get there.
That was intended to be a co-release in October of this year, so it probably is not happening.
Yeah, probably not. What probably is I'm going to probably release one more book. It's probably going to be the sequel to this one, which is fine. That's enough.
In the meantime, I'm looking at 3 this year.
Yeah, you're crazy, man.
Well, was it last year that you released most of the Serving Salvation series?
Yeah.
So it's not the first time we will have done that, and we're not as prolific as some other authors. Hello to the provosts.
Yeah. Wow, you guys are heroes. I honestly
do not know how they do it.
You guys are our heroes.
Really?
Okay. So that's enough. Anything else we want to chat about? No?
Just if you find this at all interesting, please check out our books.
Yeah. CarsonHume.com.
Yep.
And as I said, the link to the 99-cent books are there. And there are also ways to read our books for free. And by doing so, you help support our libraries. So do that too.
Well, also, if you sign up for our newsletter, the first novella out of the Finding Salvation trilogy is available as an ebook for 99 cents. But if you sign up for our newsletter, you can get a free copy.
Right.
Either EPUB or PDF, whichever you prefer. So if you want to get a taste of the book before you commit to it, sign up for our newsletter.
Yeah. Okay. I think we'd be done. I think we'd be done for a couple of weeks. Okay, so keep an eye on this space. We are interviewing our fellow writers, and we're always talking about writing, and also life lessons about disappointment and picking yourself up. Okay, the caffeine is hit.
Oh, you drank it all? I'm still nursing mine.
Yeah, pretty much. Okay, sitting over there, Cece.
And over there's JT.
Y'all take care of yourselves, please. And come on back now, you hear? Bye.